What up, y'all? We are back. We're doing a little special episode. Usually we record on Tuesdays and have the episode out on Wednesday. But since college football is on the horizon and we all love college football, we're doing a little special episode for y'all, a little college football preview as we approach week 0 on Saturday. This is the last weekend without football until February, fellas. We got to clap it up for that, man.
Let's get it. Yeah.
We made it.
We made it.
We made
All days of summer, we made it.
Yes, sir. So, the AP rankings just came out. So, Georgia, number 1, they got 60 votes in the AP. Pretty much damn near all the first place votes. Michigan got 2 first place votes. Ohio State got a first place vote. We got Alabama coming in at number 4. The LSU Tigers at 5. USC 6. Penn State at 7. My Florida State Seminoles at 8. Clemson at 9. Round out the top 10 is Washington, and then some notable teams outside the top 10. You have Texas at 11. I mean, we be waiting for Texas to have that year that they always claim. Is this the year? Is their last year in the Big 12? You got Notre Dame at 13. You got Oregon and Utah in the top 15. Oklahoma is at 20. UNC is at number 21. And then you got Texas A&M in there as well. You also got a couple teams getting some votes, like South Carolina, who plays UNC week 1. Duke got a couple of top 25 votes. Arkansas, Louisville, Pitt. So, I mean, pretty much how we all thought it was going to be, man. So, we got some big games off the rip. Week 1, the biggest game week 1, my Florida State Seminoles versus BT's LSU Tigers. Week 2, we got Alabama hosting Texas. Remember, Texas would have beat Alabama, in my opinion, last year if their quarterback didn't get injured. You got a lot of rumors going around that Arch Manning might win that job from Quinn Ewers, which I think is crazy. But Arch Manning coming in, shaking shit up apparently, but I don't buy that. And then week 4, you got a bunch of games. Week 4, you got Ohio State traveling to Notre Dame for the first time in the Lord knows how long. You got Florida State traveling to Clemson. LSU got a tough game week 4. So a lot of big games early on, but we're going to go ahead and get into it, man. The biggest game early in the season, week 1, the number 5 LSU Tigers, the number 8 Florida State Seminoles, a rematch of a crazy wild game in New Orleans last year. A game that I felt like was a springboard for my Seminoles who, the year before we were 5-6 or 5-7, but we had a lot of momentum towards the end of the year. I kept trying to tell people we were getting better throughout the end of the year. Our record didn't show it. I could see the improvement. And I think, honestly, losing that game, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel about BT, but that was probably the best thing that could have happened for LSU. It was a wake-up call for LSU early in the season. It kind of springboarded their season in a different way. Eventually y'all ended up beating Alabama later on in the year. But I think that kind of gave Brian Kelly some ammunition and some good coaching points early in the year. Like, look, y'all, if y'all don't buy into the system, we ain't going to go far. And they were able to turn their season around after that. So I think that game last year was a very important game for both of us. But now, this year, the stakes are much higher because you got 2 teams that are favorites to get to the college football playoff. And the loser of this game can still get to the playoff, but it's not going to be easy, especially for LSU. And I was actually watching college football live earlier this week. They were talking about who needs the game more. And one person said Florida State. And I agree. I think both teams need to win this game because Florida State, you lose this game, really, you have the Clemson game. But after that, who else is on the schedule that really a high-end game? I mean, NC State, maybe. They might get ranked, but, they got a lot of – I don't know.
Nobody worry about State.
No. Miami, can Miami possibly get to the top 25 by the time we play them in November? I ain't gonna sit here and try to bash them. Miami had a lot of turnover in their program. They're trying to establish a culture with their new coach. Maybe UNC in the ACC championship game. We play UNC in the ACC championship game. I mean, we don't have a lot of opportunities outside of the LSU game and the Clemson game. We play both of those teams in September. So, if we lose to LSU and beat Clemson, we really don't have a lot of market games left this season. We could coast the ACC championship, but when it comes down to that playoff spot, the SEC is tough, the Big Ten is tough. So are they going to favor a one-loss ACC team versus a team in the SEC who play a much different competition? And for LSU, a loss early in the season means you got to pretty much run the table. In the SEC West, that's going to be tough. When you got Auburn,
Yep.
you got A&M, when you got Alabama, when you got Ole Miss, Arkansas,
Always tough.
So it's a very big game, man. But I'm a Florida State fan. BT's an LSU fan, but I'm actually going to give a couple of reasons why LSU can win this game. So I'll go ahead and start, and then BT, I'll let you talk about Florida State.
All right.
So when I look at LSU, I look at the improvement of Jaden Daniels from the start of the season to the end of the season, including the Alabama game. He can beat you with his legs and his arm, and if he becomes a more consistent passer this season, he can definitely be not only a threat to beat Florida State, but also possibly be a Heisman candidate with his ability to make plays. He's, like you said, if he gets better in that passing game, they're going to be dangerous. LSU has one of the best linebackers in the country in Perkins. We know what he's going to bring to the table. That man is a problem.
Solid.
Top 10 pick in the draft. Easy. Like maybe even top 5. And one thing LSU, when you play against LSU, you already know they're gonna have some of the best athletes in the country. I mean, we got athletes too. Oh, my earbud fell out. We got athletes too, so like this is gonna be probably like one of the most athletic games you see all season, as far as just pure athletes and speed and size. Like, there's not gonna be many games that's gonna feature better athletes than this game. LSU's gonna bring physicality. The SEC team. When you go against the SEC team, especially them Louisiana boys, they always going to be big. They're going to be strong. They're going to be fast. The physicality, we have to match their physicality. And then revenge factor, definitely, because, I ain't trying to be funny, but we went into LSU's trap. The Superdome was basically Death Valley, the second version of Death Valley. We actually had a lot of FSU fans in Death Valley, in the Superdome, on Bourbon Street, and we won the game. So that revenge factor is definitely something that I worry about as an FSU fan, because LSU's going to come with a chip on their shoulder September 3rd for sure. It's a very close game. It shouldn't even came down to that final drive. We should have put them away, but we made a mistake and opened up the door. Y'all drove down the field for what should have been the game time touchdown, but we blocked the extra point. Special teams definitely going to be important as well, because it cost LSU last year. And one thing about Florida State, the history of Florida State, our kickers are either good or they're bad.
That wide right, boy.
Sometimes wide left.
Sometimes
wide left.
My bad, bro. My bad, bro.
Don't speak on this shit.
My bad.
It goes left sometimes too. I seen it.
Man, now the game that made me the sickest was that game in 2002 when y'all had Wilson McGahee. We were supposed to end the streak, bro. We were right there, bro.
Y'all were.
27-14, bro. We was up 13 going to the fourth quarter. It was crazy. Jay-Z was at that game. Everybody was at that game.
Yeah.
Miami was like, that's when Miami was with Miami.
That game was
Yeah.
We was up 13 going to the fourth quarter.
That was when.
Yeah, I remember McGahee
Miami
took that screen
days.
pass. Yes. McGahee took that screen pass, almost down to the house, and then y'all scored the next play, bro, and the whole Orange Bowl was shaking, bro. I remember watching that game. Like, you could see the Orange Bowl shaking and shit, bro. I was like, fuck. And then, like, we were right there, and then I saw that shit, and it started. I was like, oh no. I was like, no. I was like, fuck. Good times, though, bro. Good times, bro. But nah,
man.
But I mean, I look at Florida State. Last year, we won 10 games. We really only had like one bad stretch last season. We lost 3 games in a row. Wake Forest, we were injured that game, but honestly, Wake Forest had every single 50-50 ball go their way. Like, I had never seen anything like that. We had guys literally in position to bat balls down, and they were not batting the balls down, and Wake Forest receivers were catching it. And then we mismanaged at the end of the first half and in the third quarter. We mismanaged a couple possessions. I blame Ravel for that one. The Clemson game, we were battered. But honestly, outside of a strip sack fumble and a special teams blunder, we really honestly outplayed Clemson most of that game. I mean, they won. They built a lead off of our mistakes, but honestly, we played them pretty even outside those couple of plays. And then the NC State game is the one that pissed me off the most, because we were up at halftime, and our offense got stagnant. And then I don't know what Jordan Travis was thinking, but he threw a boneheaded interception. All we needed was a field goal to win the game. That's the game that really pissed me off the most last year. But outside of that, I see improvement in our program. Our recruiting class shows we have a top 5 class right now in 2024. We have a loaded class. We've been killing in the transfer portal. I think we had the number 1 transfer portal class this year. We bring in a tight end, Jaheim Bell from South Carolina. We bring in Keon Coleman and some other transfers as well. On top of what we're bringing back, Jordan Travis is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Trey Benson is one of the best running backs in the country. Johnny Wilson, a 6'6" wide receiver who runs a 4.4 is going to be a problem. Jared Verse is a top 10 pick in the draft at defensive end.
Yeah, he is.
We have Patrick Surtain now as our DB coach, and you see we're bringing in those top flight recruits at the secondary position now. So, I mean, I expect Florida State to win the ACC. This game really is honestly going to come down to who wants it more. And this is what I'm concerned about because LSU has that revenge factor, but we have to defend the state of Florida. The game's in Orlando, and I think we know that we have a point to prove because we're mad at the ACC. We call the ACC out. We'll get to that in a second. And we know that this is a kind of a showcase game. If Florida State does move to the SEC soon, these are the type of teams you have to play on a week-in, week-out basis. So we got to prove ourselves. So we might have a chip on our shoulder as well. I know I've been rambling, BT, so I'm going to give you the floor, bro.
Nah, you good.
Are the keys to the
good.
game, bro?
So, all right. So you gave the keys to why you think LSU can win. I'm gonna give the keys to why I think Florida State can win. All right. So, like you said with the quarterback, y'all got Jordan Travis. I think this is 6th year, and I was looking at PFF. I think it was on Friday. They had that man winning the Heisman. He could beat you with his legs and beat you with his arm. So that's number 1 reason I think y'all can win is Jordan Travis. Number 2 is the motherfucking receivers, man. They have probably the best receiving core in the nation, bro. And I think LSU receiving core dumb nice. But Florida State receiving core is sick, bro. They got, like you said, 6'6" Johnny Wilson running 4.4. I think LSU tallest corner is 6'2". So
yeah,
there you have it. So that's a matchup nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Number 3 reason why I think y'all could win is the defensive line. Going against LSU's offensive line. I think LSU offensive line got way better than it was last year. But like you said, Verse, why he didn't go pro? I'm like, bro, why you didn't go pro? You was a
I was
pick,
shocked
bro.
he came back.
Why you
come back, bro? To be honest with you,
I was so blown.
Oh my god,
honestly,
bro! I was sick when he came back.
I give Mike Norvell credit for establishing the culture, and I talked to him actually at HC Media Day, and I was just talking about, he always talks about like a standard at Florida State and like a culture. And like people don't understand how bad Jimbo Fisher left the program. This is why I dislike Jimbo Fisher so much. It's not the fact that he left; it's how he left. After that Alabama game, quite honestly, we played Alabama even for a half that game. Honestly, we should have been up at halftime. We got hoed by the refs at the end of the first half on a missed PI call in the end zone.
Yeah.
Then the second half, we had 2 special teams blunders that pretty much because our defense was stopping Alabama's offense. Jalen Hurts was not doing shit with our defense. Derwin James was stopping everything. Derwin James was fucking destroying everybody on Bama that game. They weren't doing shit on offense. We weren't doing shit on offense either versus their defense. Really, that game came down to our special team blunders, and then when Francois got injured, it killed the momentum of our program. Blackman was not ready, and Jimbo Fisher said, fuck it. And honestly, it started with Jameis Winston. The way he kind of enabled Jameis Winston to do whatever he wanted to do, and the other guys kind of followed the lead. That's why you see Malik Henry on Last Chance U and John Franklin on Last Chance U and other guys getting in trouble. Jimbo Fisher lost complete control of the program because he didn't handle Jameis properly, and other people followed. The program was out of control. There was no discipline in the program. Willie Taggart was the wrong coach to come in. He was a player's coach, but we needed more of a guy to build a culture of discipline, and we had to get rid of Taggart. So I give Mike Norvell credit. Guys actually want to come out. Johnny Wilson could have went to the NFL. Honestly, I was surprised he came back too.
Yeah, that's
Johnny Wilson could have went. Jordan Travis could have possibly
went pro.
Trey Benson could have went pro. But it just goes to show you the culture that Norvell is building. Like, these guys actually want to be there. And now you got recruits wanting to come to Florida State. So he's really done a great job of establishing a culture and being a guy that's a disciplinarian, but also a player's coach as well. Like, he's a real cool guy to talk to. Like, when I talked to AC Media Day, he was very thoughtful, very engaging. Like hell, he had me ready to suit up. Like when I was listening to him talk at the podium, like I was like, damn, I could play for him because like I feel like he's genuine.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he recruits so well in the transfer portal and why he recruits so well in high school recruiting rankings now. But I think coaching is going to – I think this game might come in out of coaching too. We talk about the coaching factor, but Brian Kelly, one of the best coaches in the country. Mike Norvell.
Yeah, he is,
coach as
man.
well. So
like you said with
really
coaching, bro. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm saying this game could come down to coaching as well. We talk about athletes and we talk about players, but who's going to make adjustments?
Can I ask a question to
Who's
both
gonna
of y'all
make those
real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
All right, so big game. What is the one weakness that you think, and I want to hear from both of y'all sides. T, what is the one weakness that you're scared of that BT's LSU Tigers might exploit? And then what is one weakness, BT, that you think y'all can exploit from the Florida State side? Because this is a game of athletes. So it's like there's got to be that one position unit or that one thing that worries y'all just enough to say, man, like, I don't know about that. I know, BT, you mentioned the D-backs and the size difference. So I want to hear from both of y'all. What is that one group or maybe that one player that you like, or that one position that you like, I don't know, they could take advantage of that particular unit?
I go first.
You go ahead, BT. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go first. All right, so like you said, bro, it's the cornerback position, bro. LSU has 4 transfer cornerbacks come in this year because we lost 4 last year. So, and one of the transfers got hurt. You know what I'm saying? We got his transfer. He played D2 last year. He's nice. We got his transfer from Syracuse, a little bit on the smaller side, but he's pretty good too. We got another transfer, came from A&M, Denver Harris. This man just a head case. If he stay out of trouble and get his mind right, he the most talented cornerback LSU got. But the man got suspended last year at A&M for half the season. You know what I'm saying? So if he got suspended, where he got they said personal reasons. He missed practice last week, the whole week of practice last week at LSU. So if Denver Harris can get his head on right, he the most talented corner. It might make a little bit of noise, but it's the secondary for me, man. Because we got all them transfers. They got to get used to playing with each other. And your first game is against Florida State. Probably the best receiving core in the nation. Yeah, got me a little bit nervous. Let's a little bit nervous about that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. T, who's your worrisome group that you might think LSU will take advantage of?
I think it's a mix of linebacker depth. I think that's been the issue of our defense for a while. Kalen DeLoach is a beast, but I think we try to address this area, but the linebacker depth, because LSU's going to come out and run the football.
Yeah.
And our linebackers have got to be ready to go up against LSU's linemen and make plays, and also the running backs and make plays. I feel like our secondary should improve. We got Finchro Cypress, a transfer from UVA, one of the best, highly sought after transfer portal players in the country. We have Akeem Dent, Jarian Jones, Greedy Vance. Like, we got some guys in the backfield, and we got a new coach in Pat Surtain. But those guys last year, I remember that Wake Forest game. Those guys we had guys really right in position to make plays, and they made plays. Also, I will say our O-line depth should improve, but we had injuries on the O-line last year. That's when we went on that 3-game losing streak. And then also D-line depth as well. Jared Verse was injured for a little bit last year as well during that losing streak. So I think we've done a good job addressing depth in the offseason, but I think overall depth, and then also the linebacker core, linebacker depth for sure. But one thing about LSU, they're going to run the football, so we have to be ready for that physicality, especially at our linebacker position. So, like I said, I think our secondary will be fine, but they're going to have athletes, so you got to be disciplined. I think at times we struggle with our discipline, and figure, like with the coverages and stuff. Coach Fuller likes to mix it up. I think at times his play call on the defensive end was sus, but we'll see. Like I said, this is really going to be a game of adjustments, honestly. Who's going to make the adjustment at halftime, and who's going to bend or who's will. Like I said, we can spread it around, but we have to bring some physicality. We can run the football as well. So it's going to be a hell of a game, I think. It's going to be just as good as the game last year. honestly, it's a toss-up game. It's really gonna come down to who makes more plays. But it's a great game to start the season. Like I have much respect for LSU. Like much as we were talking junk or whatever. Like real talk. Like I have a hell of respect for LSU as a program. For what they've done. For being one of those teams in the SEC that stands up to Alabama. They're not scared of Alabama. They pretty much ended Alabama's run in 2019 and had one of the greatest teams of all time that year. Like that team was stacked. And you have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrence Marshall, Quiet Edwards-Helaire, Joe Burrow, Thaddeus Moss. I mean, that team was stacked. I mean,
Loaded.
our 13
That's just
team
the
was stacked.
offense.
That's
That's just
the
all.
offense.
We ain't
That's
got to
the
the
offense,
defensive
man.
side of the
You
ball.
said Terrence Marshall? You said Terrence Marshall too?
Yeah.
TMJ.
Yeah, I
He
did.
didn't even play in
did.
2019, did he?
He
Yeah,
did.
he
He
did.
got hurt.
He
He got
did.
hurt
He
3
got their
games.
slot. He
Yeah,
got their
hurt.
slot receiver basically.
Yeah.
Got hurt 3
Yeah,
games. But yeah, he played.
Yeah, like our 13 team was stacked, but that 19 LSU team was like something else, bro. Like I've never seen a team like it. Like their offense literally was just full of people, bro.
Hey,
All
bro,
gas,
when
no
I tell you
brakes.
that was the most stress-free season I ever had being an LSU fan. 'Cause I just knew, bro, we're gonna put up 40 in this game. It's game over. No team gonna mess with
Y'all-
LSU that season.
Yeah, honestly,
So-
I ain't seen a team stacked like that since like the 2001 Miami team or
Miami,
2000 Miami
yeah,
team.
That
Miami
Miami,
squad.
yeah. I think still
Yeah.
people hold that Miami team as one of the greatest collection of players of all time, but that LSU
It
team
was.
comes
Yeah.
very
It was
close.
like
It was.
I admit it, bro. I'm a Florida State fan, but that Miami team, one is number one in my
Good.
book.
Yeah, them niggas
Um,
are stacked.
Yeah,
That
They
might
was
be
stacked.
like, and y'all know me being that team is just always going to be number one to me. Just the fact, like, it's not even just the people that was started; it's their depth that was so fucking crazy.
Crazy
Like,
depth.
Bro,
Yeah.
that Kellen Winslow was a backup, bro.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Backup.
You had
They had Frank
Portis.
Gore. and
Archer Roll was a backup.
Frank Gore was the
Sean
third
Taylor
running
was a
back.
backup, I think.
Frank Gore was
Like,
your third string. Frank Gore was
Yeah.
your third string.
Was the
running
third
back.
running back, bro? Like,
Yeah,
And
that
Sherrill
team.
You had
Williams.
Andre Johnson.
Calvin, I mean,
Andre.
they had depth at wide receiver, tight
The
end.
wide
Like, it was
receiver depth was
crazy.
insane.
Offensive line
Defense.
had depth. Defensive line,
Defense.
like nasty.
like that. Like
that team
the
was sick.
only thing that was agile was our quarterback, and anybody could have played
He was a good
quarterback for that
college
team.
quarterback.
He was.
could have played quarterback.
He was a really good
Anybody.
college quarterback.
He was though.
Yeah,
But it's just like.
man.
But it's like really, you could have put me back there. I would have pitched that joint 15 yards and got that joint ran to the crib. Like that 01 squad was just ridiculous.
Stupid loaded.
But BT, I got a question for you. 'Cause I was reading an article about Jay and Daniels on ESPN. They asked the question: can Jay and Daniels make that Joe Burrow year 2 leap?
Man, look here, bro. To make that leap, he can make a leap, but the Joe Burrow leap, nobody's gonna ever do that. My man threw 60 touchdown passes, bro. I think he can make a leap. I think he can throw about 30 because he got the weapons. He don't have the 2019 weapons, but he has weapons. He take care of the ball, but he just got to push the ball down the field. If I could just see him throw the ball down the field more, he can make that leap. So, but Joe Burrow leap, nah, no.
60 touchdowns is OC.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
I had to think
bro.
about that for a second. I was like, 60 touchdowns?
60 touchdowns to how many picks though? To how many picks? Like
Like
4?
8 or something like that?
Like,
He threw
I think
no,
he
he
had
threw
like
6 picks.
He didn't hit
threw
double
6
digit
picks.
interceptions that year. I think he only had like 7 or 8.
No, he threw
Like,
6. He
Yeah.
threw 6 picks.
Threw 6.
That's a 10-1.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
10 to
a
1
That's a 10 to 1 ratio,
10
bro.
to 1, bro.
That is
That's crazy.
ridiculous.
Yep.
That is old
Yeah.
NCAA football type numbers you put
And
on
SEC
player mode.
conference and
In the
SEC
SEC
conference.
conference, dog.
But yeah, bro. But yeah, shoot, man, the better team win, bro. We got 50 on it, bro. I hate to take your better team win, bro.
What's y'all
Hey, nah, I'm
prediction?
taking your
I
money.
got
I'm
y'all
gonna take
on
your
it.
money though. I'm gonna take your money. We still used to
I
be
got-
my nigga, but I'm taking your money though.
I got a question
You
for
can-
both of y'all.
Yep.
Final score.
I was just about to ask that.
Ooh.
Mm.
I was
Oh,
just
Go
about
ahead,
to
T.
ask
Okay.
score predictions.
okay.
I'm going to say 31-28 FSU.
I
Shootout.
think it's gonna be a shootout. I'm gonna say because LSU secondary sus. I'm gonna say 35-32 LSU.
Okay.
T,
Okay.
your QB, 2+ touchdowns?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny, but like BG said, they don't have a DB above 6'2". We got a 6'8" tight end or 6'6" tight end or 6'6" wide receiver. Like Jordan Travis really can just lob it up, and we got guys that'll go get it. And then like we got Keon Coleman, a transfer from Michigan State, who's been impressive in camp. We got Trey Benson. We got some other running backs as well. Our running back depth is solid, but we actually had a guy transfer out because we just have too much depth at running back. Like we got depth now. Like that's one thing. Like I've noticed. Like we just been adding like hella depth at positions, bro. So it's gonna be a shootout. We're gonna put some points on the board.
Definitely
Like
gonna
we
be a
play Clemson,
shootout.
we're gonna put points on the board. We're gonna put points on the board. Like we just can't beat ourselves. Like I felt like that Wake Forest game, we just had mental lapses. We just didn't make plays. The Clemson game, you can't get a strip sack in a key moment of the game and then special teams blunder right to start the second half. I feel like we're gonna have a chip on our shoulder versus them. And then like that NC State game, we just had mental blunders. We beat ourselves that game. But honestly, that NC State game propelled us the rest of the season. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see, bro. Like that's a game I've been looking forward to. I should have been there, but we ain't going to talk about that on this pod.
Don't talk about it, man. Don't talk about it.
I've been looking forward to this game. I've been looking forward to this game since last year when the dude blocked the field goal. I was in this mug sick, and I've been waiting for this game ever since then, bro.
I've been there, PT. I understand.
Nigga, I was sick, bro. You talking about your emotions go from up here to shoot.
No, I know. I was there, bro.
Nigga,
I was sick.
The exact same shit happened to Miami.
Bro, I was so like, bro, when y'all talk about that was like so mad, bro.
Like something about Reds because we always there when football games go on Reds and it be lit up in there, man. But like seeing like Kurt and T just going through the emotions watching that game, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, these bandits really going through the emotion right now. It's a roller coaster. I was like, we are Reds or Carowinds because it's a whole bunch of roller coaster of emotions going on up in here, bro. Like.
It was all over the place with emotion.
That's how it was, man.
I said, I'm just trying to enjoy my wings. I'm just trying to eat my wings and hookah, bro.
I'm like, T is posted in front of the TV and he is not moving.
I was tense, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was one of them games, man.
Like Kurt, I remember Kurt had that drawn on the phone. Like we were just like,
he hit the table like this, just not taking his eyes off the phone. Like
it was one of them games, man.
I said, I'm not going to talk to T till this game over.
Exactly.
So I got a question for the panel, and T brought it up during his conversation about Florida State. How are the alignment talks you think are going to affect some of these teams going into this season with everything moving around with these teams jumping from one conference to another? FSU has pretty much made it clear to the ACC that we don't have nothing to do with y'all until y'all get y'all's media rights put up together. You got the Pac-12 is now the Pac-4, 3 or whatever they're called. So, do you think it's going to play into some of these teams' mindsets going in like we got to make a statement if we want to make these moves?
Yeah.
Absolutely. First off, can I say something, man? Like, I know we're the villains of the ACC, but we're doing Clemson's dirty work as well, and UNC's dirty work as well.
But since we talking ACC, I'm gonna put this on real quick. I'm gonna put this on real quick, man.
Oh man,
is that the turnover chain or the Drake chain?
Man, this is the New Orleans version of the turnover chain, man. But but I'm gonna let T cook, man. I'm gonna let T cook before I say what I gotta say, man.
No, because here's the thing, the reason why we're so vocal is because even the last 5 years, we have not been good, and I admit we have not been good. We still draw on the most TV viewership and TV ratings out of any team in the ACC, and we're bringing the most money. We're bringing more money than Clemson. As good as Clemson's been the last 5 years, we bring in more money than Clemson. Yet, us, Clemson, UNC, Miami, whoever has to share all the revenue that we generate with schools like Wake Forest who don't make shit, Boston College don't bring in shit, Virginia Tech don't bring in shit,
Syracuse,
Georgia Tech,
Virginia Tech
don't make no money. UVA don't make no money.
UVA,
it's only like 4 schools that make money. Oh, like two that
for
really
football. Yeah, exactly. For real. And I'm like, it's not fair that we generate all this money, but we gotta share the pot equally with those teams, and we can't. Of course, we're not gonna be able to compete. I mean, we're recruiting now because we upped our NIL shit We got one of the best NIL programs going right now, but like, we're very vocal about it. We're doing Clemson's, dirty work for them as well because Clemson's pissed off too, but they're not speaking out right now. We're doing the dirty work. We're out front. But I think we're definitely going to have a chip on our shoulder. We're going to have a point to prove to the ACC. People talking about, we haven't won anything in years. Y'all just got good last year. Okay. All right. Y'all going to see. Y'all going to see this year. The only team I feel like that can beat us on our schedule is LSU and Clemson. Florida, I don't know what they got going on down there, but
A lot.
outside of those teams, there's a lot going on in Florida. But outside of that, I ain't really worried about anybody else on our schedule. Like, we should be able to dominate most of those teams.
All right.
No disrespect. No disrespect, Dre.
No, all right.
No. The reason I say that because Miami's had a lot of turnover. Y'all trying to establish a culture. Y'all going through what we went through a couple years ago.
I don't care. Records don't matter.
Hey, y'all coming to our house. We beat y'all 45-3.
We can go to the moon. We can go to the moon with it. We talking last year. Last year don't equate to this year. Last year don't equate to this year.
I love it.
Last year don't equate to this year.
Don't Campbell South, bro.
Spicy in here, boy.
Last year don't equate to this year. Because you was quiet for
it's a home game for us, bro.
I was quiet for a few years. How many years you have to say those posts in the drafts, my guy? How many years? It was like 4 or 5 years in a row. Okay, yeah. So again, last year don't equate to this year. But I'm gonna let you finish. Are you done yet? So everybody else can get a talk because I get tired of listening about fuck State University and shit. Like, let's get some let's get some other things. Let's get some other. Can we get some other action? Can we get some other action up in here, man?
We'll get there. We'll see y'all November 11th. We will see y'all November 11th in Tallahassee. Okay, yeah. Bro. We will see y'all in Tallahassee, bro.
Yes.
We ain't worried about Miami,
I love it.
Yeah. I love it. We ain't worried about Florida either. Where Ann at, bro? Where the Gators at? We ain't worried about them niggas either, bro.
No, we ain't worried about them, bro. We ain't worried about them. What up,
Ant?
He say, what up?
Ant, you got 24 hours to respond, dog.
That boy asleep.
Hey, Miami don't fuck with Florida. LSU don't fuck with Florida. Everybody in this panel don't fuck with Florida, bro. We ain't worried about the Gators, bro.
Nah, we ain't worried about them.
Tebow can't save y'all no more, man.
But
the convicts can't save them no more
this week.
When this doc drop, we gonna find out.
We're watching that.
When this documentary hit Netflix.
Look, man, that 06 to 09 Gator team should be like 10 episodes. Like, I know this. I know this.
It really should get
this got watered down.
10 episodes. Some of them need to be doing 10 years to life, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Hey, real quick. I'm gonna say, and then we're gonna go on to some other topics in college football. But honestly, I want Miami to rise up so that game can matter again, bro. Like, I want that Miami FSU game to matter. I love it when we're both good. The stakes are high. I love that shit, bro. It makes the rivalry better.
I mean,
ACC is a lot better when y'all good. Yeah.
After the season that they had last year, it's like, I mean, can you go lower? Yeah, but I don't think I think we reamp a lot of positions and we got another year in Cristoval's system. So I'm expecting like a better season, not like a losing season and everything. But to go back to the question earlier, it's like, because you talk about FSU having that chip, all the other teams in the ACC, yeah, they're going to use that as motivation because they're going to look at like FSU as the bad guy because pretty much they're going to be stealing the bread from the conference and everything. But they don't need to like go too deep and like they just need to worry about playing football because everything's happening next year. So y'all don't need to really affect it. Like y'all need to play them like Saturday. Worry about your Saturday, not what's going to happen next year when everything's about to change. Because if you look into next year, then you're already going to be behind the 8 ball with it. So everybody just need to prepare. See, people just need to be prepared.
But yeah, bro. But switching topics and teams now, bro. Like Georgia, they're defending champs, 2-time champs. And I'm looking at this schedule, y'all. What the fuck is this, bro?
We're going to the bakery. We're going to the bakery.
Nah, it's super easy, man. It's a super easy schedule.
We're getting little
UT Martin.
Their hardest game is Tennessee.
What's their hardest
game? At Tennessee, November 18th, bro.
Wow.
And they play LSU, don't they?
No, they don't. No, they don't.
They don't play LSU.
No.
They don't play Alabama either.
They play
Nope,
They play.
nope.
They're in the
LSU,
SEC.
they
They're in the
don't play
SEC
Bama.
East. They're in the SEC
So they
East,
play
which is not.
Auburn,
They play
Yeah.
Auburn.
they play
I think,
Auburn,
and that's it.
and they play Ole
Yeah.
Miss, and that's it.
Wow.
This schedule's
So
bullshit. I mean, South
Auburn,
Carolina,
Tennessee, and Ole Miss.
For
yeah,
a
South
defending
Carolina.
champ.
I mean, South Carolina could possibly give them a little bit of bump, but I don't know if they have enough to end the games at Georgia. If the game was in
play
South
Tennessee.
Carolina, I'll give them more
If
of a
the
punch.
game was in South Carolina and it was at night,
Yeah.
I'm like with T, it would be a little bit of a battle.
It's
But it's in between the hedges and Athens.
See,
No.
But I know
Yeah.
why Georgia did that, but we all know why Georgia did that. It's a lot of turnover going there because they sent a lot of people to the draft the last 2 years.
Right.
So they're using this pretty much like 4 tune-up games for them,
Yeah.
just to see who's
Yeah.
going to be really starting, see if they're going to trust their new QB, their new D line, the new wide receiver and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like we seen Alabama have a turnover and they still have like schedule a hard
Somebody
opponent.
on the schedule.
LSU does it, FSU does it, even Miami. Like we playing SEC
Yep.
teams within the first 3 weeks of the season, so it's like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
so no offense. Like I say, all offense, Georgia. Like what y'all doing right now? What y'all doing right now is despicable. Like come on now.
Bro.
No, it was like Michigan last year. Michigan had a cupcake schedule. As a matter of fact, I'm on Michigan schedule.
And what happened?
Bullshit.
And what happened when it mattered? And what happened when it mattered?
Yeah.
Wax.
They
Call
folded.
it out, Dre. What
Yeah,
happened when it
wax.
mattered?
And what happened when
What
it
happened in
mattered?
January?
Because of Michigan, we had to watch a BS championship game.
Hey,
I'll
look,
never
man.
let them down
Yeah.
for that.
Nah, man, Michigan got
Yeah.
bikini. They got bikini wax, bro. That's what happened.
No, I'm looking at
they weren't
Michigan's
prepared at
schedule,
all.
bro. Michigan has ECU, UNLV, Bowling Green.
Dub.
I mean, like, really? And then they get to Big Ten play. They play Rutgers at Nebraska. They'll beat the shit out of Matt Rule. Fuck Matt Rule. At Minnesota,
I'm a Michigan fan.
Indiana, at Michigan State, Purdue. Michigan doesn't play a ranked team until November 11th at Penn State, and then at Maryland, and then they play Ohio State at the end of the year.
Shit! I gotta make a change real quick. I gotta make a change real quick. Bring that in.
Both of them.
Cause I'm always about that hometown too. Fuck Michigan with that shit, man. They got lucky last year, man. Man, they got so blessed last year. But
and then Ohio State, number 3 team. I give Ohio State this. At least they're playing Notre Dame.
Yeah, they got a little bit of competition.
They got some competition.
Yeah, they at Wisconsin's never an easy game. Those fans go crazy. Can't Randall.
Yeah, Randall be a hard place to play.
And then they open up at Indiana. Yeah,
great quarterback too.
That's a good question.
I know it's.
Hold on, because Stroud is gone.
Is it McLeod? Cal?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it might be him. Yeah,
a new guy for sure. Yeah, McLeod.
But my question to y'all, I'm looking at the top 4. You got 2 Big Ten teams, 2 SEC teams. LSU is an obvious team outside the top 5 that could possibly upset the card. I'm looking at USC at number 6. Is USC, and I'm also looking at Texas at 11. These are 2 teams in the Pac-12 and the Big 12.
No.
Hold up. USC, do you give them a fighting chance to make the playoff? I mean, I'm looking at their schedule.
Fighting chance.
Yeah, USC definitely.
Yeah, a fucking chance for sure. Yeah,
fighting chance, yes, but they're gonna do the same thing they've been doing for the past decade. They're gonna lose to
have a tough stretch at the end of the year.
They're gonna lose to
the end of the year because
they're gonna lose to somebody.
At Notre Dame, they play at Notre Dame, Utah. Utah has their number.
Yeah,
and then they finish the year with Washington, at Oregon, and then UCLA.
That's always a tough game for them.
That's a tough little stretch right there.
I mean,
that's just
at Oregon's never easy, especially in November. It's gonna be cold up there. Washington is a team that's actually ranked right behind USC as well, and then Utah has USC's number.
Utah has a number.
Yeah.
The Pac-12.
I would too if I have an 8-year college quarterback. Like, how many years Utah quarterback gonna have?
Honestly, Utah be having a lot of niggas numbers because they waxed Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game a couple years ago. Then they beat USC So like Utah is always like a team that just like they're guaranteed to get you like one or two losses in the regular season before like the conference championship, but they always show up in the conference championship.
They do.
I don't know.
Remember, it's the same Utah team that lost to Florida.
That's why I look at Oregon. I'm like, man, I don't know if they're gonna like make it or not. And then even like Washington, I'm those two teams in the Pac-12. I'm like,
do y'all
are they really as good as what they say they are?
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm done with the
Washington
Pac-12
quarterback like that though.
I'm done with the Pac-12 going to the playoffs. He's nice, but I'm done with the Pac-12 going to the playoffs. I'm done with the Pac-12 going to the playoffs. I'm sorry, I'm done with it.
Make any noise at Colorado, or is this just a dud year?
They
check their schedule out.
Establishing the culture, bro.
This is like
Colorado's trying to establish a culture.
Yeah.
They had a lot of turnover.
And see, I hate this because as soon as they go on like their first 2-3 game losing streak, all the haters are gonna come out the woodworks on Prime's ass and shit. But I'm like,
exactly.
But it's like Colorado won like if they I don't know, did they even win a game last year or they won like one game?
They won one game. They won one game
last year.
So it's like this is the program he's trying to turn over. So literally he wins like 4 or 5 games. That's improvement out the gate.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But because how people felt he left Jackson State, he has a whole bunch of haters on it. And I'm like, did y'all really expect him to be at Jackson State for 10 to 20 years? Like, let's be real.
That's exactly what I'm talking about because it could go either way. Like, I know that there's like a side of people that like when Colorado wins games, they're gonna be like, see, this was the right move for Prime. And then when they go on that losing streak, or if they go on that losing streak, Dre, like you were saying, there's the other side of people that will be saying, you see, that's why you shouldn't have left Jackson State. You see, you made the wrong decision. So, but like, it's all. I mean, this is what Deion Sanders wanted anyway. He wanted an opportunity at a school that was at a big like a Power 5 conference, and he's got it now.
Yeah.
So like this first year,
I'll be honest with you.
If you win like 4 or 5 games, 6 games, that's a hell of a season, especially Colorado that hasn't been relevant in like 20 years.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, Dave. Deion Sanders really wanted to be at FSU, but they chose Norvell, and then he took Travis Hunter, and then he tried to. They were recruiting a couple guys, but we ended up getting them now, so we kind of returned the favor a little bit. But Deion really wanted to be at Florida State, so he really, getting Travis Hunter was like a big deal because Travis Hunter was supposed to go to Florida State.
Yeah,
and he was trying to get another Florida State recruit. But he ended up going, and then we signed that wide receiver that a lot of people thought were going to Colorado. He ended up going to Florida State. That was a big get for us. So, we're always going to have recruiting battles with Deion from here on out. But I'm looking at the Colorado schedule. I mean, you have at TCU starting the season. TCU is a team that was in the national championship. I know Max Duggins is gone, but TCU is going to be tough. Then you play Nebraska at home week 2. Nebraska.
I know y'all.
I want him to win that game so bad.
I know y'all. I know y'all want him to win that game so bad.
It's two rebuilding teams playing each other. Yeah,
basically.
Obviously, Colorado is the more talented team.
Yes,
on paper, but Nebraska, I feel like is returning more in the trenches.
Yeah,
Colorado the trenches.
Yeah, they are.
And then honestly, week 3, it's not a sleeper game. Colorado State, that's a rivalry game. You can't sleep on that game.
Yeah.
And then you play at Oregon. Their 4th game's at Oregon. That's gonna be a L. That's gonna be an L. Let's be honest.
Shador, we really gonna find out about Shador for real, because like, no offense, like playing HBCU competition is one thing, but now you playing with the big boys. Like, I know he came in with like a 3-4 star ranking on the websites coming into college football, but like this is a step up now. Like the speed's going to be different, the crowds are going to be different, and you're going to
everybody's crowds are crazy, bro.
And them crowds are they're going to be looking for y'all to fail. So it's like y'all really.
There was like a 5-6 year stretch that you did not want to play at Oregon because stadium used to go bananas.
Oregon, Washington crowd go wild too. Washington crowd go wild too.
Then they got to go to USC at home.
Yeah, that's good luck with that.
USC. Caleb Williams getting Heisman numbers that game.
That's an L.
Yeah. Arizona State after that, but that's on the road. Stanford after that at home. Then they got
getting Stanford out the way.
Yeah, they could beat Stanford.
UCLA on the road. Oregon State at home. Arizona at home. Washington State on the road. They end the year at Utah.
Oh, at Utah, they're gonna get thumped.
Yeah, them Mormons gonna get them out the way for that one.
But I say this about USC though. I'm gonna just trust the fact that since you were literally like before that Pac-12 championship game, if you had just won that game, you were gonna be in the college football playoff. So like, that bad taste in your mouth, I'm trusting that's gonna kind of propel them into like.
But you know what? The problem with USC is you got the Heisman winner coming back. I know they lost Jordan Addison to the draft and everything, but the offense going to be good with Lincoln Riley. It's just their defense. Lincoln Riley and defense are like water and oil. They don't like that man. Like that man just like that man just like that man's like we going everything's offense, defense. Do where the hell y'all want because we got to try to put up 45 for y'all on the board. So like when they go into them games against Oregon, Washington, UCLA, it's just like. You pretty much in Utah, you gotta be in shootouts and like, are you confident you're gonna win every shootout? I don't think USC in that stretch is gonna be able to win every single shootout. But if Cade Wells do it, he's gonna be the first back-to-back Heisman winner since Odin from Ohio State. So
Archie Griffin, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought someone else did it before.
No, he's the only person that ever went back-to-back.
So the team that's favored to win the Big 12 is the Texas Longhorns. I know. But outside of Alabama, I'm looking at their schedule. They have a very, on paper, favorable schedule, but on paper.
On paper.
Because you play Rice week 1. You play Wyoming week 3. Of course, you have Bama week 2. Then you play at Baylor. This ain't the same Baylor team that's been in the past. Kansas got better last year, but I just don't think Texas should beat them. Texas should beat them.
With the hype
it's at home. Oklahoma, they should beat Oklahoma, but that's a rivalry game. At Houston, Houston's going to the Big 12. Texas is going out. Houston might have a point to prove.
Yeah.
That's a trap game. BYU is one of them teams that you just don't want to play on the schedule. It's always a trap game with them. I don't know why.
It's a weird game to play BYU.
Yeah, bro.
And then Kansas State. Oh, go ahead, Jay. My fault. Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking like because I was like I was watching college football live like 1 week and everything, but it's like if you just look at Texas roster, they actually have like a top 8 roster in all of college football.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think the only reason why they rank at 11 is because you put them. Yeah, you don't like. I remember Maryland smacked them back-to-back years. So so I understand why they so hesitant. But I'm like, after what they showed me against Alabama and what they did last year, I want to give them a little bit more trust. Now they start Manning over whatchamacallit, then I don't know.
That's a mistake.
Yeah. I think you gotta go with experience because like you was really about to get Alabama out of there until he got injured. So I think you need to keep
Alabama in the trenches. That's what caught me. They were actually that game better in the trenches than
both sides, defense and offense. Like it was moving.
Bryce Young was just making plays, bro. Like Bryce Young just made plays when he had to make them. That's why I knew Bryce Young was going to be like the number 1 pick in the draft. That game and honestly the LSU game last year, the way he brought Alabama back, because that was a subpar Bama team as far as their receivers. No, I'm talking about the skill players, bro. Like think about it. Outside of Gibbs, bro, that was really not a typical Bama team at wide receiver.
Yeah,
last year at the skill positions.
Not the skill positions.
But Texas, they end the year with Kansas State. A tricky game. Kansas State's one of them teams that has their number 2. It's crazy. At TCU, and then at Iowa State, and then Texas Tech. So, I mean, on paper, Texas really, honestly, I could really see Texas really going 11-1 on paper.
On paper,
but
some of them games, it's like anything can happen. It's like
every given Saturday.
Like
Saturday,
in the Big 12. In the Big 12, it's Iowa State, Kansas State, some other teams where it's just like you play them, either especially at their place. It's like
shit. That game against
Iowa State. Can't sleep on Baylor.
What can't go wrong will go wrong. You know, like at Baylor too. You know, so like.
Especially when Rob and Nate Jones on the call, you already know it's gonna be shenanigans going on. You already know some shenanigans. You already know when those two on the call for the Big 12 game.
Man, them corny ass water cooler ass niggas, man. Oh my god! Come on, man. Oh man. Man, look. When they actually, do some games this season, I'm gonna have smoke for them, but I'm gonna reserve it for right now. But they some corny ass niggas when it comes. Like I don't know, man. Like RG3 made some joke about announcing a game on Black Friday and talk about Black Friday as in me and him. Black Friday, get the fuck out of here. Bro.
I saw that and I was just like, I cut the TV off. I was like, I will say this. I will say this for the record. Mark Jones got bars, but we know why I hate Mark Jones. We all know why.
You gotta let that go, Dave. You gotta let that go, man.
Brian ain't even there.
That's another day.
Oh man,
I got a question for the panel too. Monty, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we haven't talked about Alabama. We've actually been very, very quiet about Alabama. They're coming in number 4. I don't know if you're gonna bring this up, Brad, but I mean, what's your thought of Alabama, bro? Like they have shown some chinks in the armor the last couple of years. Kirby Smart at Georgia has kind of peeled back some of the aura of Alabama, the invincibility a little bit. Yeah. Georgia's the top dog. People talking about, we've seen this in Alabama before. We saw this with Dabo at Clemson, and then we saw Alabama bounce back. I feel like Alabama, it really will come down to their quarterback play. I mean, their schedule, we'll find out about Alabama week 2 versus Texas. Texas is going to come in with a better quarterback.
Yeah.
More experienced quarterback, but we'll see what Alabama has as well. And I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. At South Florida, then you got Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin always going to have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. That's never an easy game. At Mississippi State. At Mississippi State's never an easy place to play. At Texas A&M, we've seen Jimbo Fisher give Nick Saban some fits at times. At A&M, Arkansas is always Arkansas is one of the teams that you just can't sleep on Arkansas. Tennessee at home, we know Bama wants revenge for what happened last year. Yeah, and then yes, LSU in Tuscaloosa, we already know how that can go. Yeah. We know that LSU is one of those teams that ain't scared to go into Tuscaloosa. But honestly, after that LSU game, they have a favorable schedule in the year. At Kentucky, no Will Levis, Chattanooga, and then at Auburn. Auburn's rebuilding. So, I mean, if they can get through that stretch of between mid-October and the LSU game, they do have kind of a favorable schedule in the season. So, Alabama's just one of the teams that kind of like they're ranked highly, but it reminds me that year that they're talented. It reminds me of that 2015 season when Ohio State beat Bama when they had all the hype coming the year, and Bama had a chip on their shoulder, and they lost to Ole Miss early this season, and they kind of found their way to end up winning the championship. I don't know. Yeah. Really, for Alabama, it's going to come down to that LSU game and the Texas game because Texas is definitely going to try to prove a point. We're coming to the SEC, but we're going to come to your house and make a statement, and we got the better quarterback. And Quentin Ewers didn't get hurt. The last year we would have won the game. That's how Texas is coming in. So it's going to be very interesting how Alabama responds to that. What do you guys think?
Hey, but I got a question actually for y'all about Alabama at the quarterback position because I think Ty Simpson is going to be the starter for Alabama at QB, but he was battling Jalen Monroe and Tyler Buckner, the Notre Dame transfer. How do you guys feel like the quarterback play will be compared to like the last few years with, when they had Mac Jones and Bryce Young? Like, how do you guys feel about that?
I feel like Alabama, honestly, they're going to try to get back to their old identity of running the football.
I was going to say
until the quarterback gets up to speed. I'm not sure. They should be better at the wide receiver position, but last year was like a weird year because Bama usually has some of that receiver. Like even the year before, they had Jameson and
Mechie. Yeah.
And like Bryce Young made me a fan last year because Bryce Young really put the team on his back when they literally were struggling and make stuff happen. He literally almost put the teams in position. The game that they lost last year were a last-second field goal in overtime on a 2-point conversion.
Yep.
Outside of that, Bama was right there. Even with all their problems and issues, they were right there.
Yeah.
Saban's a good coach. That's why, like, we got to give him respect.
Definitely cannot sleep on Alabama. And quite
Never
honestly, I think Nick Saban might have a chip on his shoulder, especially.
Oh, he will.
He will.
Remember when he had to. Remember when he had to sit at the championship game while he was commentating, they was talking about. They was like, yeah, Georgia took over the SEC, and he made that face like, oh my god.
The camera caught that one look, and I was like,
yo. I say this is actually out of all the years, this is actually one of the scary times that I think Bama might really do something because nobody's really talking about them. All the hype is going to Georgia. All the hype is going to like LSU, going to Caleb Williams for the Heisman and everything. Like nobody's really talking about Alabama, but yet they're still number 4.
Exactly.
And they lost they lost all these players. Like Nick Saban hasn't been in his underdog role since like Julio Jones in them days. So like I think these boys are gonna come out hungry, and it was like, oh, I think Georgia took over this thing. All right.
Let me see your reminder real quick.
If they get to Atlanta, if they beat LSU and they somehow get to Atlanta and they play Georgia, I think they would beat Georgia.
I think so.
Yeah, I actually think so too.
I think so too.
Because this is one of those scary years where I think like Nick Saban has a thing of having those like little chip on his shoulder type years where like he's just gonna pull a rabbit out the hat and have one of those years where the team is actually a team. It's not just about one guy. Like last year, like T said, this was a Bryce Young carry job with everything they had going on. Bryce just put the team on his back. But this year, I think he's going to really kind of focus on that team first mentality with Alabama. And that's when Alabama, I think, is the scariest. They're going to go back to their bread and butter, which is defense and running the ball.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask one more question before we wrap up because we haven't really talked about him this entire time. And he's local right down the road from us. Do y'all think the hype about Drake Maye at Carolina is real, or is this a bunch of overhype for this kid at Carolina? When the offseason, he's already talked about being the second quarterback, taking in the draft next year, the Heisman expectations for him. T, I know you talk. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to Carolina and talk to the coach at the ACC media.
Yeah, I talked to Matt Brown.
Is the hype around Carolina real? You know, with Mac Brown and the guys, or is it a lot?
The hype around the quarterback is real. The hype around the quarterback is real. I'll say this about Carolina. Drake Maye, you want to talk about carry jobs. That man, that was a carry job last year. That defense was ass. That was one of the worst defenses in the nation last year. They were really historically bad. Yeah. I talked to their linebacker, Cedric Gray. He said the defense took it personally. They've been hearing the noise. They've been hearing all the chatter. This year 2 under Coach Gene Chizik system. So hopefully there's more continuity, more confidence on the defensive side of the ball. And hopefully Tez Walker gets cleared by the NCAA because that's a huge loss if he can't get cleared.
Yeah, huge loss.
But because you
a man not eligible in this era of college football. Wow,
that's crazy. Especially with NIL, man.
Especially with NIL.
They did some type of rule about transfer. It's weird because there's somebody at Florida State. They're trying to fight the same thing. He's trying to get closer to his family, and NCAA's on that bullshit, bro. Like it's ridiculous. But as far as like Drake, as far as like UNC, like the hype around Drake Maye is real. Like he's legit. He's legit. Like he's legit. Probably a top 2 pick. Some people actually say he has a chance to be QB1 in the draft over Caleb Williams. I don't know about that, but Drake Maye is legit. The UNC offense will be legit. Their defense is sus, and until their defense proves it, honestly. And Matt Brown said at me today. Their first 4 games of the year is going to test their defense because they're going up against teams that like to run the football. You look at Carolina's schedule, the start of the year, at South Carolina and Charlotte, which means half the stadiums will be Gamecock, half the stadiums will be Tar Heels. Both universities are about 90 minutes away from Charlotte. Then you play App State. Remember, App State could have beat UNC last year. App State put up 40 points in the quarter.
App could have easily won that game.
Yeah, they could have easily won.
Then Minnesota, a Big Ten team. Those Big Ten teams got them big ass offensive linemen.
As a person that went to bit, Minnesota's a tough out. Like don't sleep on them. Like they're gonna bring the noise with the linemen. Yeah.
Yes. And then Pitt, Pitt is one of them teams. It's an ACC team. They're built like a Big Ten team.
They're built, on
the trenches.
They're physical,
they're gonna try to smash you. Yeah, they're gonna try to smash you in the trenches. So UNC's first 4 games are going to test their defense, and then also you got Syracuse. Then you got Miami in middle of October. And I don't care what people say. Miami's down. Miami's going to have athletes. I don't give a damn how bad Miami is. They're always going to have athletes.
I ain't gonna lie to you, T. Like, I know we got our rivalry, but I need that smoke from UNC because they've been giving us the last couple of years. I need that shit. I need that shit. I need that shit so bad. I need that shit so bad.
I'm with you, John.
I put that game on the calendar. I'm sorry. We gotta get our shit back against UNC.
Because I talked to a few people that support Carolina football, and every year they have UNC and Goddess. I want that lick back against them.
You already know. I'm with UNC, you, brother.
Oh shit! They got a tough stretch in the year, y'all.
I'm trying to get tickets to that game.
Because like their ending stretch is Duke. Remember, Duke should have beat them. I was at that Duke Carolina game last year for Carolina, but Duke beat UNC. Yeah. They fumbled that game. Literally, they fumbled that game. Then at Clemson, November 18th. Yeah, good luck with that. And then at NC State.
Drake Maye in that way.
Yeah, and then at NC State.
That's a rivalry game. Anything can happen in Raleigh. Anything.
And State hates UNC.
That rivalry, I didn't realize
UNC with a passion, bro.
They hate each other. I had to work a concessions game for a State Carolina game, and it was the
man. Ain't nobody worrying about State, man. Fuck them.
But nah, they got UNC's number though.
They do.
True.
Yeah. Hey, but
last question.
They don't got Merlin's number though. That's all I know about State. They don't got Merlin's number. Ask about us.
Hey, but T, I wanted to ask you this question because for like ACC Media Day, we like on the subject of quarterbacks. Drake Maye the other quarterback that he will be facing later this season is Klubnik from Clemson. So how do you feel about him? This year because I think he ripped it up like in the ACC championship game towards the end of last season. So how do you feel about Klubnik?
I mean, he was like the top quarterback in his class coming in. Surprised they didn't put him in earlier. They're bringing in an offensive coordinator and Garrett Riley as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. But the thing with Clemson is it's going to come down to that Florida State game. As far as, Florida State, we got a chip on our shoulders them. They beaten us like 6-7 years in a row. We had a run where we beat them for a while. Now they had the run. I felt like we could have beat them last year, but we didn't play up to our capabilities. We're gonna have a chip on our shoulder versus them, especially if we can get past LSU. We're definitely gonna be locked in on that game. But I mean, Klubnik, I think he's gonna be good. HC has a lot of good quarterbacks. You got Drake Maye, Jordan Travis, Klubnik. So I mean, like there's some good quarterbacks in the ACC, and Klubnik could be up there among the best. Also, the guy from Duke, Riley Leonard, he's a good quarterback. But Clemson, they have a sneaky game at Duke on Labor Day, and then you got Florida State. Week 4, but after that, I'm looking at their schedule. They really won't be tested again until they play Notre Dame at home, and then they got UNC at home, and then of course South Carolina in the season. So it's a manageable schedule. Like I said, for Clemson, it's gonna come down to that Florida State game at Miami. Is not gonna be. If Miami plays up to their capabilities, that they will get tested. They will get tested. If Miami plays up to their capabilities, if Cristobal can get Miami up to speed, build some confidence in that program, that'll be an interesting game. At NC State is going to have a defense. I'm not even going to lie. State's defense is nice. As much as we joke, I said they got some DBs that are good. Their defense is going to be good. Offensively, remains to be seen. They got a transfer quarterback from UVA coming in, but State's kind of like flying under the radar. But they're a team that when you go to Raleigh, I don't know what it is about Raleigh, but every time Clemson actually go to
Raleigh at night,
it's just something about Raleigh. I just don't understand what it is, but
playing at that stadium at night for some odd reason gives top teams. I don't know what it is. Florida State's been there. Clemson's. It's something about that stadium at night with those fans. It's weird. It's a weird mixture of just BS that happens at night in Raleigh with state and night games and top.
They get affected with the mid.
Hey, Brad, I tell you what it is, bro. It's a smell of beer and mid, bro. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That old Wolfpack Tuffy beer that they brew now that they're selling in the stadium.
But Raleigh is a tough place to play, especially when the because their fans are passionate. I will give them that.
Yeah, they are.
We can talk about state. We can talk about state, whatever, but they are a very passionate fan base. But my last question to y'all is college football playoff. Who is y'all 4 playoff teams for this season? Brad, I'll let you start off, and we can go down the panel. What's your college football playoff prediction? Who's your national champion?
If I had to go off right now, I'm gonna put Georgia in there because they have a cupcake schedule, and I just off their schedule, I got to put them in there. They're probably.
Do you have Georgia as an SEC champ, or do you have Georgia as a wild card?
I have Georgia as a wild card because I really don't think that back in that schedule being as weak as it is, I think it's going to cost them when they have to play somebody who's going to be battle tested.
So who's your SEC champ? Is it Bama or LSU?
I'm actually going to ride with BT. I feel like this might be a LSU year again. I think they clip Alabama. I think Alabama, that game is going to determine who wins that division. And that game is going to come down to adjustments. And I think LSU might just get Alabama again this year. So I have LSU.
So Brian Kelly's going to have Nick Saban's number 2 years in a row?
I think he'll have it 2 years in a row. I think he'll clip them just barely. I think he'll get Alabama again and knock them out and get LSU in there. I have LSU, Georgia. I don't like either team, but I got to take one or the other. They have Michigan rated above Ohio State. After Michigan's bad taste in my mouth, I'm going to take Ohio State to make the playoff. As a sleeper, my 4th, I really do think this is y'all's year to make a comeback. I think y'all going to beat Clemson. I think y'all going to make a statement. Y'all put it out there that y'all want to leave the ACC. You want to go for pastures anew. You are the program of the ACC. I think FSU makes their return to the playoff. And my national champion, this is going to sound crazy. I feel like we could have a rematch. I feel like we could have an LSU Florida State rematch in the national championship game. I'm crazy enough to say it, but I feel like
God,
that could happen. And
keep me far away from BT. Hey, if that happens, keep me far away from BT, bro. Keep me far away from BT.
I feel like because both their teams are there in prime to make that run, and I think that you could potentially have that if it goes the way it could possibly go. Because I just don't.
I can see it. I can see a path to that, honestly. I can see a path to that. That's the crazy thing. I can definitely see a path to that.
I'm an agent of chaos when it comes to college football, and I feel like that is the.
I love
you could have a rematch from Labor Day weekend in the national championship game. 2 teams that will have some of the best athletes on the field. You're going to have 20 guys that are all going to be picked to go in the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft. 2 months later, I feel like you could have that in the national championship game. But yeah, that's what I have right now. I don't have a winner. If you're asking me that, it's a toss up either way because I would want to see.
Nah, make a pick, nigga. Make a pick.
The first game I know it's gonna be a little rough.
You can't put that game. You can't put that game out there and not say who's going to win.
You gotta make a pick, bro.
Yeah, bro. The courage of your conviction, bro.
Go ahead and pick LSU, bro. You remind me, fan. I know you don't want to pick us, bro. Pick LSU.
Kill it.
Hey, bro.
Hey, you killing the clock, Brad. You killing the clock, bro. You gotta take a shot.
You holding the ball too
If I
long.
had to make a pick,
You gotta take a shot.
If I had to make a pick right now, in all honesty, I'm picking FSU. Right now.
Whoa.
If I had to make a pick right now, I'm picking FSU. And that's coming from a Miami fan.
Sad day. Oh. Sad day in the community. Sad day in the community. Sad day in the community.
I hate saying that, but I'm looking at
obviously not, Brad. Obviously not, because you're saying
I mean, you made the pick, so obviously it's not that sad.
I don't like having the pick, but
I respect it, bro. I respect it, bro.
The one program I respect the most is FSU because they give us the most hell. We give them.
That's true.
But I respect both them and LSU.
Hey, I'll say this: if we kept you on the schedule at that school in Gainesville,
exactly.
We kept you on the schedule every year at that school in Gainesville.
Down there in Florida.
Fuck Florida.
All right, Corey, who are your playoff teams, bro?
Oof. I'm gonna say this: in order for Brad to be right about both LSU and FSU making it, FSU has to lose in week 1. In my opinion.
Nah, that'd be bad for them.
Right. Right, because like LSU got a harder schedule.
Exactly. If LSU catch that L first, it's going to be harder for them to push back and win the SEC or even make a wild card spot, to be completely honest. So I'm not going to sit here and say that FSU and LSU makes it in. To me, honestly, I actually do think Bama is going to come back. It's been a while. Y'all know how Nick Saban is. He's planning some shit. So I have him, Georgia, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and I don't know why, and I'm hating myself for wanting to go with Clemson, but fuck it, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I hate Dabo for the life of me.
Oh
so I'm
goodness.
going with FSU. I'm sorry, BT.
What the hell is going on
here? But I got Bama winning it all.
He had an aneurysm for a split second.
Oh boy.
Oh,
no, we seen Dabo. He been shaky in the light for the past couple years.
No, Dabo been quiet. Dabo's actually been quiet this all season, surprisingly.
Yeah.
He been really quiet. All right, Dave, who are your playoff teams, bro?
False prophet head ass.
Hey.
Fuck Dabo Sweeney.
He could get on some more false prophecies, bro. But I got Alabama first going in. I think they'll win the SEC championship. So I think they'll go in as that. I got Florida State going in as an ACC champion. The other two are very tough. I don't think Georgia is gonna make it. Actually, I got USC making it.
Oh, okay.
And I got. Oh man, their schedule is actually really tough. They play a lot of ranked teams, and they got like a lot of road games that I feel like are very sneaky. But Ohio State.
Yeah.
I got Ohio State taking that last spot.
Dre?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna go Ohio State. It's not in the order. I'm just thinking team. Ohio State, Alabama, Florida State, and Texas.
Now, Dre, you're high on Texas, though. I respect it, though, because their roster is top 8.
And I think it's going to be Alabama, Ohio State in the championship game. That's how I see it.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it. BT.
All right, so I never picked my squad, bro. So
I
ain't picked this in 2019. I ain't gonna pick this now. You know what I'm saying? But y'all know what it is. But
let that man be humble.
I ain't pick it since 2019, bro. I ain't pick it since 2019.
Let him
we gonna
him.
beat y'all.
He didn't, bro.
We're gonna beat y'all. But I got Georgia, Ohio State, USC. Man, I don't want to pick this team, bro. It's the rival squad, bro. Fuck it. I got LSU, bro. Going to the playoff. I can't pick. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it, bro.
Oh man.
I can't pick Bama to do it, bro. I can't do it.
Conviction, BT. The courage of your conviction.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Pick your niggas, dog.
I can't do it. Yeah, so I got Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, and USC.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I guess it's on me. So you already know FSU making the playoff. Even honestly, the only thing that concerns me, one, the LSU game. 2, we're about to play Clemson twice because like the way that they're doing the ACC now, there's no division anymore, so we could see Clemson twice.
Yeah.
But I think we are the best team in the ACC, and we have a chip on our shoulder. I'm
surprised I'm picking the USC.
Game, that Alabama LSU game is such a toss-up, man.
It really is. It's a coin flip.
Man, a lot of implications there, bro.
Yeah.
A whole bunch.
I mean, what I like about this year, it's a lot of playoff games throughout the season, though. So people are going to get knocked out just by playing their schedule. So
you're right, Dre. It's a lot of just knockout games throughout the season.
I respect LSU for putting us on the schedule and the schedule they play. I feel like we're going to beat LSU, and then I feel like Bama might get them in Tuscaloosa because Nick Saban is going to have a point to prove versus Brian Kelly. The game's in Tuscaloosa. It's a coin flip game. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to come down to who makes more plays. But something just tells me that Alabama is just it's too quiet out there. Like there's something brewing down there. So I'm gonna go with Alabama. I really don't want to, but I just don't know if LSU loses to Florida State. I just don't know. Their schedule is brutal. LSU always has one of the toughest schedules. So, yeah. I have Georgia because they have a cupcake schedule. They'll get to Atlanta by default. And then I will say this. If Ryan Day loses to Harbaugh 3 years in a row, that seat is warming up.
God.
Oh,
man.
That seat is warming up. If we haven't talked about Ohio State too much, but if you lose to Harbaugh 3 years in a row after that, Ohio State's dominated Michigan for years. Ryan Day's seat's getting warmer and warmer and warmer. And it's crazy because you look at what Ryan Day's accomplished. He's accomplished damn everything but won a national championship. He got to a national championship game, but that 2020 Bama team was just stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game is in Michigan. I don't know. There's something about Michigan with Harbaugh and all this talk about suspension, whatever, and it's just something about Michigan. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Ohio State. I'm gonna go with the team that's more talented. So I'm gonna go with Ohio State. Ohio State actually needs to win this game versus Michigan more, in my opinion. Yeah. Ryan Day has to win this game because in that rivalry, coaches get fired for losing too many games. You can do well versus any other team, but if you don't win that game year after year after year, you get fired. So Ryan Day, I'm gonna go for Ohio State. I think it's gonna be us versus Bama in the Natty. I want my lick back with Alabama because that 2017 game, honestly, I felt like we were right there with them at halftime and we just fell apart in special teams. I want my lick back with Bama, bro. Fuck it, I'm going to SFSU to win the whole thing, bro. Y'all know how I do, bro.
Talk that shit, bro.
Go on FSU.
It's been 10 years since we won our last natty, bro. It's just something in the air, bro. I just feel it, bro.
I feel you.
Because remember, that year in 2013, bro, we came in, I think we ranked like number 10 or 11 starting the year, and we won the natty. We're ranked number 8. So we're not under the radar, but I feel like, things are kind of lined up with our schedule. Like I said, we might have to play Clemson twice, but we can get past LSU. I think our schedule, if we get past LSU and Clemson, we should cruise until the ACC championship game. And then we got a lot of talent, bro. So I got faith in my squad. I know it's crazy, bro, but I'm gonna rock with my squad. I'm biased. I admit it. I'm biased. I'm going with my squad, bro. Like,
go with your squad.
Nah, hold up. I didn't make my natty prediction either, bro. So my natty prediction, y'all know what it is, bro. We're winning it again. We're winning it again. We're winning it again. Won it in 2019. We're coming back with it. BK gonna win it in year 2. For sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Week 1 is going down. We'll definitely do a recap of the game, bro. Somebody gonna be $50 lighter in the wallet.
It ain't gonna be me. Tell you that much.
It's gonna be somebody.
It ain't gonna be me.
Somebody gonna have to cough up something.
That group chat gonna be toxic.
I love it, man. The stakes are high, bro. And one thing about college football, we like a lot of the same college basketball teams, NBA players. But when it comes to college football, we all got different squads. And I love it.
Love it.
I love it. Dave, we gonna get a college football squad, Dave.
He gonna fuck with UConn like shit, head ass.
Look, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely
He just gonna represent his school, A&T. You know, that's his football team. So we understand.
That's right. I'm gonna root for A&T. I'm gonna even root for UNC a little bit, but shit, I root for Ohio State. I root for Ohio State before I root for you.
Oh, you ugly. You ugly. Oh, you was ugly. Boo this guy.
Stop throwing the tomatoes. Oh,
this nigga said Ohio State.
Like, really?
Hey, dare to be different, Dave. Dare to be different, bro.
Dare to be different.
Dare to be different,
I want to cause. Hey, one thing I like about college football, chaos, bro. Especially with the playoff shit. I love chaos, man. So
hey, I fuck with it.
I'm an agent of chaos too, but fuck Ohio State.
I rock. Hey, look. There's the National Basketball Association, and there's my NBA. Anybody but Alabama. That's it. That's what I go with. That's my team right there. That's my team right there.
Let the record show that they do not like Alabama.
As if we didn't already know. You now know.
Oh boy. But yeah, man. This is Season 4. We got our NFL preview this week. We got the AFC and NFC West. Shout out to the left coast.
Hey, we good in the West.
Of course, yeah, we good out West. And then, of course, we're wrapping up our division with the South. We got smoke for any Saints fan bold enough to come on this panel. Any Saints fan that wants to come on this panel, bring your ass up here for the smoke.
I'm going to send them invites out.
I got label.
I'm going to just sit the bench on this one.
Fuck you, too.
I'm just sitting on the bench on this one.
Me, T, and Corey got smoke for all y'all niggas, okay?
I'm gonna just sit on the bench on this one.
I got smoke too.
And Dave.
Hey, you gonna let me get a
I'm just sitting on the bench. I'm just sitting on the bench, bro. I'm gonna let y'all cook.
Damn, Jordan.
I'm gonna just let y'all want me to moderate the joint. Me to moderate the joint
you might have to moderate that week because it's gonna get real toxic.
Because I don't got nothing to say. I mean, y'all can ask me a question that week, but I'm gonna just let y'all rock. So I'm gonna let y'all rock.
Oh yeah, any Falcons fan, going to come up here. All 30 of y'all, because y'all don't even show up to y'all home games.
They get dragged by the Saints.
Hey, look, if you're an Aints fan, if you're a Jig Atlanta fan, or if you're a Buccaneer fan, come on this motherfucker. Come on here.
Buccaneers got fans.
Hey, like I said the other week, as long as we got seats, you fuck niggas are invited too. Fuck it. At least for that episode. You fuck niggas are invited.
I did not know Tampa Bay had fans.
Well, they used to, but Tom Brady retired, so I don't know where they at anymore.
No, they were Tom Brady fans. They went back to New England. It's all good.
Well, they went back to cottage cheese and clam chowder. That's what they went back to.
Yep.
Yeah.
They might have been in Mar-a-Lago, but we're not gonna go there.
Hey, hold on.
We don't do that here. We don't do that here, bro.
We don't do that here, man. Hey, look, man.
This sounds for, bro. We are in this shit right now, bro. We'll see y'all next episode.
We out of here, bro. We out of here, bro. We out of here.
This nigga,
fool,
man.
Bro. You a fool, dog.
He said, "They're about to get arrested, bro."
You trying to get involved in the RICO, ain't you?
Hey, yo.